Hi everyone, in this video we will discuss about the concept of virtual machine scale set and we will also see that how to deploy it. Virtual machine scale set topic is part of AG104 and AG303 certification. If you want to go through the complete course, you can purchase these courses from my website, that is techlearning.spy.com. All the information is given in the description. If you want to check out the course content, just click on course and click on preview. So left hand side you can see all of the course contents. Other than individual courses, course packages are also available where you can find out the decent discount on these courses. Let's get back to our topic. So today we are going to discuss about virtual machine scale set. Okay, so virtual machine scale set is our topic. So what is a virtual machine scale set? First of all, we need to understand. If you remember our previous session, in that session we had discussed about the load balancer. Let's say this is a load balancer. On the back end, we had placed two virtual machine. And I told you that whenever session from outside hit on this load balancer, okay, this load balancer is going to redirect it to either this virtual machine or this virtual machine. Okay, so basically it is balancing the load between both of the virtual machine here. So let's assume for a situation where the traffic which is coming on load balancer is very high. Okay, it is very high, so that even these two virtual machine is even not able to handle it. So what you will do in that case, suppose you are an administrator, you are taking care of this setup, and this kind of situation come when more number of sessions are hitting on the load balancer and the backend target has been overloaded. So to fix the problem, what can be solution? The solution can be that you are going to deploy one more virtual machine, and that in that virtual machine you will deploy your application like web application or website, and then you further go ahead and attach it. So as soon as load balancer realize that okay, one more target has been added, so load is going to be distributed among three. If this situation continue, so you will go ahead and add one more virtual machine and you will deploy your application, correct? But in this overall situation, all of the task which is done by you is the manual. Okay, first of all, you should be there to see that okay, latency is there, load is there, and your load balancer is not able to take care of the overall load. Okay, fine. So you added two more target here, but everything you did manually. Let's say suppose this traffic actually was for a particular period of time, later it got reduced. If it got reduced, still you have four virtual machine. So if you are creating more virtual machine on the back end, you are supposed to pay more money, right? But now the traffic has been reduced, so what you will do, you may come and delete these virtual machine if you are concerned about the cost, correct? So this is one thing. Also, what happens for every website in real time, suppose there is a business, suppose there is an online business, online website, there will be particular hours when the traffic on the website will be very high. Suppose if you are talking about the India region, the traffic on any website will be high from morning 9 o'clock to night 11 p.m. After that, the traffic will reduce because people will sleep, right, in India region. So after that, you do not require that much target in the backend because the load has been reduced here. Fine. But if you want to manage in this way, like you are creating or deleting the virtual machine, it will become a very difficult task for you as an administrator. Okay. If you are in the shift, that is fine. If you are at home, so who is going to manage this? And even if you are in office also, this is a very difficult task to monitor the whole setup and accordingly create the virtual machine, deploy or delete the virtual machine, right? So in this situation, virtual machine scale set come into the picture. Fine. So what is virtual machine skill set now? We already understand about the load balancer, so I'm not getting into the load balancer. You understand what is load balancer now, right? In case of virtual machine scale set, what we do, we create a virtual machine scale set here. Fine. Let's say this is my virtual machine scale set. The idea of virtual machine scale set is very simple. It says that what is the minimum number of virtual machine you are looking for in this scale set? I'm saying one. And what is the maximum? Let's say I'm saying seven here. So what will happen? And even it will ask you while creating this virtual machine scale set, how many you want to put it in initially inside this virtual machine scale set. You can put one or you can put two also. Initial, when you're deploying virtual machine scale set, initially how many you want to place inside it. I said place one only. So how it is going to work now? Now this virtual machine scale set has been attached to the load balancer. Correct. And on this virtual machine scale set, I have defined a condition, and the condition says that if the CPU utilization is more than 70%, okay, increase the number of virtual machine automatically. So what will happen? A new virtual machine will be created in the backend. More number of users are coming and hitting on the load balancer. Currently, I have only one virtual machine in the backend. Okay, we call it instance when we are talking about the virtual machine scale set, but I will call it virtual machine only so that you are not confused. So right now there is only one virtual machine here. So when load balancer is redirecting it, so there is only one target. So all of the session will be redirected here and it will continue to serve whenever the CPU utilization will be more than 70%, because more number of sessions if connecting on this particular virtual machine, it means CPU utilization also will be more, correct? So whenever it reach to this condition when it is 70%, so one more virtual machine is going to be added here automatically. You are not doing it manually. If it continue to be more than 70%, let's say it will add more virtual machine one by one. Fine. Let's say this traffic has been reduced on your load balancer. So what will happen? It will deduct and we will define a condition here whenever the CPU utilization is less than 40%. In that condition, you start deleting these virtual machine because the traffic has been reduced. Then only the CPU utilization will be less than 40%. So automatically what is going to happen? All these virtual machine is going to be deleted one by one. Fine. Now, when these virtual machines are getting deployed here, so there should be something inside that. And what we want to keep, we want to keep some operating system, then we want to put our website also. So when these virtual machines are getting created automatically, then how this image or how this operating system and website is going to be deployed in it, correct? So we have to define some mechanism for that. So what we will do, we will deploy one virtual machine separately. On this virtual machine, we will have a operating system as well as we will have our website. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to take a Linux virtual machine. Correct. I will create a Linux virtual machine here. On that Linux virtual machine, I will deploy one package that is httpd, and then finally I'm going to deploy a website on it. I will create one simple page of the website that we will see how it works. Correct. Instead of Linux, if you are comfortable with Windows, Windows also you can take. Okay, instead of, let's say you are taking Windows, on that you install IIS. On IIS, you can deploy your website. Correct. That part we have done. I just want to show you via the Linux virtual machine also, so you have some additional knowledge about the Linux and this infrastructure. So what I will do, after creating this virtual machine, I have to take an image out of it. So I have to take an image. Let's say this is image. Fine. So what will happen whenever anything is getting created inside this virtual machine scale set, I will give a reference of this image here to the virtual machine scale set. Let's say if anything is getting created, put this image only in that. Suppose one virtual machine is getting added here. If your load is increasing, if it is more than 70% CPU utilization, suppose one virtual machine is getting created. Inside that virtual machine, this particular image is going to be deployed. Okay, so you can see it has the same setup, operating system and the website. So no need to manually configure it each and every time. Fine. So this is how it looks alike. Uh, let's do the practical, then you will have the better understanding of this concept, actually how it works. And for today's practical, I just want to give a heads up because we have to wait for these condition to meet, like 70%, 40%, and there are some timers also we need to set up. So there is a wait time in today's practical. So we have to execute the activity, then we have to wait for 5 or 10 minutes to see that whether the changes are taking place or not. So keep that thing in your mind. So you have to wait for certain activities result to be reflected on the portal. Fine. So let's start it. So start in a step-by-step manner so that you do not get confused. So the first thing I want to do, that is my this image setup. Okay, for image I said first you need to create a virtual machine. Okay, then you put the HTTPD, then the website. So first let's create the virtual machine here. So come to your portal. On your portal, go ahead and select virtual machine. Click on add virtual machine. Name I'm giving Linux VM. Region is Central US. And image I'm taking CentOS. Then size I have taken two virtual CPU and 8 GB of RAM, and select password. You can see the difference of cost here. In case of Windows, it was around 10,000. In case of Linux, it is around 5,000 rupees. Okay. Then it is asking me about the password. So this is my username, password. So here we are going to allow the port 22 SSH because in Windows virtual machine we were taking the RDP session, right, to take the remote session. Here we will connect via the port 22 SSH. So we have to connect via the PuTTY here. So we need to enable port 22 in case of the Linux virtual machine. Also, I'm going to deploy a website on it. So I'll say enable this port 80 as well. Correct. So go ahead and let's put the default information here and go ahead and create this virtual machine. Let me open one notepad as well so you remember the sequence. First is create a Linux VM. Okay. So my VM is created now. Go to resource. Now this Linux VM has been connected. What will be my second step? So second step is that we need to connect via the PuTTY. Okay? Connect via PuTTY. And once we are connected, you need to install HTTPD here, and then finally you have to create a web page. Okay, then we will fifth will be stop the virtual machine, and the sixth will be uh, capture the image. Correct. The first step has been executed. Now connect via the putty. If you are not aware of what is putty, putty is a SSH based application. Through that, we connect our Linux virtual machine here, right? So if you do not have putty on your laptop, what you can do, just come to Google and type here putty download. Let's say yours is Windows 10. Go here and click on it, and there are a lot of options. From here you can download and install it. So this application installation is very simple. I'm sure you can do it. Just download and click on next, next, next. So putty will be installed on your laptop. So right now already this putty application is there on my laptop. So click on it, open it, and then you go to your portal and take this public IP address. Okay, so paste it here and then click on open. So basically you can see on this public IP address, I'm trying to connect on port number 22. This port already has been enabled, right? Along with port HTTP port 80. So yes, here it is asking for my user ID. So that is Sanjay KA, and the password is this one. Okay. So if you are from the Windows background, you do not have any knowledge about the Linux, then also it is fine. Let's understand what command I am executing and what is the meaning of that command. You have to understand and memorize these commands. Okay. So right now I have logged as Sanjay K on my Linux VM, name of my virtual machine. So I want to log in as a root account to do the administrative task. In Windows, if you remember, you log in with your administrative account, right? If you want to perform any installation, any of the uh, administrative activity. So same thing happened here also. So if you want to go back to root is like an admin account. So the command is sudo su and hit enter. So this is your command. You are inside root right now. And what is my next thing? After coming to the root, the second thing which I want to execute, I want to install this package HTTPD. So the command to install this one is yum install HTTPD. Press yes, and HTTPD has been deployed. So what happened? This service by default, when we install it, it will remain in the stopped state. I need to start it. So the command for this one is service HTTPD. Name of the service is HTTPD. What action I want to perform? Start. Hit enter. So your service has been started now. So basically, if you compare it with the Windows virtual machine, in case of window, what happens? You will, let's say this is a Windows. In our previous practical, you might have seen on Windows, we install the IIS, and finally on IIS, I deploy my website here, correct? So this is how it works. Same thing if you relate with Linux here. So instead of Windows, I have taken Linux. Instead of IIS, I am deploying this package, HTTPD. And finally, on this package, I will deploy the website as I was deploying my website on the IIS. So this is how you can remember it. Fine. So now this HTTPD has been installed as well as started as well. So whenever we install this IIS, so what happens inside C drive? There is one folder inet pub and then www root. This path get created actually. When we install IIS, these directory or these path get created. And inside this path only, then I deploy my web contents. Whenever I'm deploying my website, exactly where it is getting deployed, inside this path only. Okay. Same thing here as well. So here it will be slash where www slash html. So this will be the directory here. So this slash is known as root here. A root you can understand as a C drive. Like we have C drive here, here we have a root. And this is the directory path. Inside this path, exactly we need to create our web pages. Clear? So now we were here, we have installed the HTTPD. Then the final thing is I need to create my web page here. To create the web page, I have to get inside this path, and inside this directory HTML, actually I'm supposed to create my web pages. Clear? So fine. So I'm here right now. If you want to get into this path where slash www slash html, so the command is cd slash where www html. Fine. Now the command to create, I'm just creating a single web page. I'm not going to deploy whole website. So the command will be, let's say I'm saying echo welcome to my, fine. So what I'm doing with this command, I'm saying create a file with the name of index.html, and inside this file you put this content. What is the content? Welcome to my website. Correct. Hit enter, and then you come to your overview. On overview, copy this public IP address and paste it here. Your web page is running. Okay, you can see the same thing is reflecting as a web page. Fine. If you are not comfortable with Linux, it is not mandatory that it should be Linux only here. You can do the same practical with the Windows also, but I will recommend try Linux because Linux is very popular nowadays. And don't stop yourself by learning the Linux also. Okay, if you do not have any idea about Linux, how it works. Correct. So this one thing is done. Now come to my connect via putty, install HTTP. Now this website also has been created. Stop the virtual machine and capture the image. Now I want to take the image of my virtual machine. So this is my VM. I want to take the image of this one. So what I need to do, first of all, I need to stop this virtual machine. Stop it. Once this is stopped, then we will capture an image out of it. Okay, so VM has been stopped now. And now I want to capture the image. How to capture the image? To capture the image, click on this button called capture. Okay, so it is asking me the resource group. Okay, fine. Share image to a shared image gallery. Right now I am saying no. Fine. And now it is asking me what you want to do with this virtual machine after creating the image. So I'm saying delete this virtual machine once image is created. If you want to retain the virtual machine, you can uncheck this one. So right now, let's say delete this one. And now it is asking me about the name of the image. So this is the name, Linux-VM image. All this thing has been mentioned here. And go ahead and create your image here. So whenever it create an image, so there are a couple of steps are involved. The first step will be generalization of your virtual machine. What is the generalization step? Means it is preparing your virtual machine to create a image out of it. If you remember in Windows, we used to do sysprep before creating any of the image. So this is like a sysprep here. So first it generalized the virtual machine. Okay. Now you can see deployment to resource group was successful. The image has been created here in second step. And third step, because I told that once image is ready, you go ahead and delete your virtual machine. So successfully deleted the virtual machine also. So three things happened here. First thing, generalization of the virtual machine. It prepared the virtual machine to take the image. Second, it actually created the image. And third one is that it deleted the virtual machine after creating the image. Correct? So my image is also done here. Now this part is done. So let's remove all this thing. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a virtual machine scale set now. So this is my virtual machine scale set. How to create this virtual machine scale set? To create it, go to your portal and type virtual machine scale set. So my group is my RG. Virtual machine scale set name I have given this one. Region I have selected Central US. Okay. Now it is asking me about the image. So if you click on it, you can see Windows operating system, Linux operating system. It is reflecting as it was reflecting in case of the virtual machine creation. If you just need a simple operating system, a virtual machine with just simple operating system, you can choose any image out of it. But we have created our own image, and in that image we have done our own customization and deploy our website as well. So I want to deploy the same thing. So click on browser and then you click on my images. You can see your image is reflecting here, Linux -VM. This image is created by us. So select this image. So now you can see that we have selected our image here. Correct. So what I did actually, so I have attached this image with my virtual machine scale set. And this is the name VMSS1. Okay, so this is it. So it means whatever we are going to deploy inside this virtual machine scale set, it will have the same image like this one. If you remember, when I was creating this virtual machine scale set, I had taken two virtual CPU and 8 GB of RAM, right? But here it is asking me about the size, what size you are looking for. But here I'm not going to take the same two virtual CPU and 8 GB of RAM. I can change it to any other size. It is not mandatory that we should select the same hardware configuration here as well. Why? Because this image is only capturing your operating system application setting things here inside this image. It is not capturing your hardware part. So basically what will happen whenever any virtual machine is getting created, this image is going to be deployed. But this image nowhere says that it should be only two virtual CPU or 8 GB of RAM. It can be deployed on any hardware configuration, right? So that is the reason I have selected one virtual CPU and 3.5 GB RAM because I want to create multiple instances here. Now it is asking me about the password. If you wish, you can put the same username and same password. If you want to give a different username and different password, that also possible. Fine. So this part is done. Then click on next. This is your disk. Disk I'm not touching as of now. Go to networking now. So what will happen? The virtual network is getting created. That is my RG VNet 796. So basically what will happen now when I'm creating this virtual machine scale set, this virtual machine scale set is actually inside a network. Or instead of this, you draw in this way because virtual machine scale set is in network. And what is the name of this network? The name of this network is my RG VNet, my RG VNet 796. My RG VNet 796. And one network has been created for this virtual machine scale set. And there will be IP addresses and all that you already understand. So I'm not writing that one. So there will be range of IP address attached to this one. Now come on this network interface and click on it. So there are a lot of settings, okay? But there are two important settings which I want to highlight. First of all, it is asking me, do you want to have a public IP address? Okay, so what actually the meaning of this? So whenever any instance is going to be deployed inside it, let's say this is one instance or virtual machine which is going to be deployed. Now it is asking me, do you need the public IP address or on it or not? Fine. So I'm saying I need because I want to connect via the SSH. Fine. So this is enabled here. Fine. And the second thing is that which port you want to allow in it. Right now, if you see the port number, I'm going to say port HTTP and not and SSH here. These port you allow. So basically what is happening? I'm saying allow port 22 and the port 80 here. Okay, why 80? Because there will be a website inside this virtual machine and a port 80 is not enabled. External session or external users, those are connecting here, will not be able to connect to your website. Why 22? Because I want to connect to this virtual machine after creation just to verify that everything is perfectly fine. Okay, so that is the reason I have selected two ports, port 80 and port 22. Okay, so this looks like your virtual machine setting only. So just go through it, you will understand everything here. This is the subnet range where exactly all of these virtual machine inside virtual machine scale set is going to be created. So go ahead and click on OK. Now the next option is scaling. So it is asking me initially what is the initial instance count inside your virtual machine scale sets. Let's say I'm saying two. So as soon as I create this virtual machine scale set, I finish this console by filling up all the information. So what will happen in backend? Two virtual machine is going to be created at the initial moment. So two virtual machine going to be deployed as soon as your virtual machine scale set is created, right? And inside these virtual machine, this image is going to be deployed because this image is already attached with my virtual machine scale set. On this virtual machine also, your port 22 and port 80 will be enabled because that is the common setting what I have given. So right now I will say no, I just need one. So come here and remove this one. I do not require this as of now because I'm saying only one I need. So do you need manual scaling or automatic scaling? So I'm saying I need automatic scaling here. Um, so it is asking how many minimum number of instances. I'm saying one. This is maximum seven. Scale out means this is a technical term. Scale out means uh, increment of the virtual machine. Scale in means decrement of the virtual machine, deletion of the virtual machine. Okay. So now it is asking me inside this scale out when you want your virtual machine should increase. I'm saying whenever the CPU threshold and the CPU utilization is more than 70% and it remain in that condition for 5 minutes, then you start increasing one by one the number of virtual machine here, because it might also be possible that there is a instant spike that is more than 70% and you do not want to react on that instant spike. You want to monitor the condition. Let's say your CPU utilization is 70%, right? More than 70%. So you want to observe that whether it remains in this condition or not. So how long you want to wait? You have set 5 minutes here. So for 5 minutes, if it remain for more than 70%, then only this condition is going to trigger. It means new virtual machines are going to be added here. Clear? Then come to scale in. When you want to delete the virtual machine, whenever the CPU utilization is less than 40% here. Fine. Logs and all, I'm not touching. So I have filled up all this information. So just go ahead and review and create your virtual machine skill set. Review and create. So what should happen? What should I expect once this virtual machine skill set is created? I should expect that one instance is created here because the initial count I have set as one. And inside that instance, this image should be deployed. If this image is deployed, it means I should be able to open my website from this instance because this is already deleted now. Correct? One thing. And the port 22 and the port 80 should be enabled on it. Okay. So let's see whether it works as expected or not. Once virtual machine scale set is done, we will connect it to this virtual machine instance and then we will verify that everything is perfectly fine and working. Then we will see how to increase the traffic so that it become more than 70%. So this scale set is ready. Go to resource and this is my virtual machine scale set. Now I want to check the instance. So come to setting and click on instances here. So currently you can see that one instance is already created here, VMSS1, and the status is running. It is trying to update it. Okay. Um, so if you open this one, if you open this instance here, you can see it looks little different. Instead of virtual machine, it is written as scale set instance here. And the naming convention, the name of this instance is already automatically picked up. Okay. So now, even you see that there is one public IP address has been assigned on it. And if you go to the networking, here you can see that port 80 and the port 22 is allowed here. Fine. And this is part of the network, MyRG VNet 796 here. So everything looks fine. Let me go to overview and copy this public IP address and let's connect via the PuTTY and see that whether my image is deployed successfully or not. So if I go to PuTTY here and connect on this, so you can see it has taken my password. Okay, what actually I had set up. If I go to sudo su, I had created a file inside cd where www/html and give ll. So it will list down all the files or folders or files or directory inside this HTML. Currently I am inside HTML, so hit enter. You can see index.html is available here. And also let's say if I type service httpd start, and you can see that it is starting this service. It means the package which I had installed, that is also very much available. Fine. Let's minimize this one. And if I take the public IP address of this instance here, okay, you can just paste it. Okay, so your website is loading. It means image is working perfectly fine. When my instance got deployed inside this virtual machine scale set, the image also successfully deployed on this virtual machine instance. So everything is working fine. Now the important part comes here. Okay. So what is that important part? I said whenever this traffic increases on the load balancer, so all of the sessions are coming and connecting on this single virtual machine here. And when the traffic is very, very high and the CPU utilization of your virtual machine increases more than 70%, so automatically new virtual machine will start getting created here without any human intervention, right? But if we all of us also try to hit this website from our respective laptops or mobile devices, so we cannot generate that much traffic so that it will increase the CPU utilization from more than 70% here. So what I will do, I will take a different way, workaround, just to show you the practical here. So in real time, this is the setup. You have to create a load balancer, and you need to attach this virtual machine scale set with the load balancer here. This part also I will show you. But how to increase this CPU utilization now? That is the question. So what I can do, instead of getting in this direction, like from load balancer session came to this target here, instead of that, what I can do, I can directly log in here in this virtual machine, and with the help of commands I can generate some artificial traffic here, so that my CPU utilization is more than 70%. Okay, this is how we can do it. This is just like a workaround to explain you how exactly virtual machine scale set works, but in real time, all of your traffic will come from the outside. This thing you have to keep in your mind. So I need to connect to this instance first of all. So I'm here, correct? So let's see what is the current CPU utilization of this virtual machine, this instance. So to check that, the command is top, hit enter. So you can see the CPU utilization is maximum, it is 0.7, 0.3, 0.00. So very less, right? If CPU utilization is very less, it means my practical will not happen. So I need to increase the CPU utilization on this virtual machine instance here. Okay. So how to do that? And what is this top command? This top command is equal to your task manager in Windows. So in Windows, we run our task manager. So it gives me a real time resource utilization by the each and every process. Correct. So let's say I'm running this Zoom meeting for conducting this training session. So when Zoom is running, it is utilizing this much hardware resources. Okay. And this is like a real time data which is reflecting here on the every second basis. So with the help of top command, same thing we can see in our Linux as well. So these are your process, and these are the resources utilized by these respective process here. So what I'm going to do, I need to increase the artificial traffic here. So there is one command which I'm going to use. Okay, and the command, let me paste here. So top command, you already understand what is the meaning of it. I'm going to run this command here. Just copy this one and paste it. So from where I got these things, these are very much available in the internet, that how to artificially increase the CPU utilization, memory utilization. Okay, just search in Google and put the operating system. If you are doing for Windows also a lot of different commands are available. For Linux also many commands are available. So this is one of the command. Let's copy this one, then understand what exactly it is doing. So first of all, we need to come out from this console, and you need to press Control C and clear all this thing, and paste the command which I had copied. Okay. So actually what is going to happen, it is going to introduce one process, and the name of process is yes. Hit enter. And now command has been executed. Again, you type top to see the present CPU utilization. Now you can see there is one process yes here, which is introduced by me, and this process is utilizing the CPU utilization 98, 99. You can see this data, correct? So one condition already has been matched. The condition is that when CPU utilization should be more than 70%. But the second condition is that it should remain in that state more than 5 minutes. If it is more than 5 minutes, it remain in this state, more than 70% CPU utilization, then only new instances are going to be created here. Correct? So what we have to do now, we have to wait for 5 minutes. And we will see that after 5 minutes, new virtual machines or scale set instances will start automatically create here. Okay, just wait for some time. Meanwhile, what we can do, we can come here and create this load balancer, and I will show you that how can you attach this virtual machine scale set with your load balancer here. So load balancer we have already studied in detail in our previous session. So let's see quickly how we can deploy this one, create load balancer. So this is my RG, name is load balancer, LHLB1, region Central US, let's say it is public, basic I have taken. Fine, that's all. This load balancer is created. Okay, so my load balancer is done. What I need to do, come on this backend pool, click on add pool and create a pool here, web hyphen pool, and select the virtual network. The network is this one for my scale set, my RG VNet 796. And then here it is asking associated to, this time I am saying virtual machine scale set. In our previous demo we had selected virtual machine here, right? Now I'm going to select virtual machine scale set, and you can see that your virtual machine scale set name is reflecting VMSS1, and then this is the IP address detail. Just go ahead and click on add and your work is done, right? So what basically we did here, so I created a pool, and inside this pool I have added this virtual machine scale set, and this pool actually has been connected to my load balancer. And the rest of the story you already know, that what happened inside the load balancer. Instead of individual virtual machine, you have attached a full virtual machine scale set. So no need to perform the activity on the manual basis. So come back here and go to virtual machine scale set. This is VMSS1, come to instance. So let's wait for some time. After some time, you will see that automatically new virtual machines or new scale set instance will start reflecting here, because the CPU utilization is more than 70% at present. So let's wait. So you can see that virtual machine have started creating here. Okay, so this process is going on, and unless or until my CPU utilization get distributed in all of these virtual machine, this process will not stop. Okay, although we have given one maximum limit also here, but right now it is not going to stop because the traffic is not coming from the load balancers. So this is a constant traffic which we are generating on our virtual machine. So it is not going to reduce. So it will continue to create the virtual machines here. So what I need to do, I need to stop this process, okay, this yes process, so that CPU utilization reduce here. So when CPU utilization reduces, you will see even the virtual machines, those were getting created right now, will delete automatically, right? So first stop this process and then provide one command, that is kill hyphen 9, and this is your process, and against to this process there is a process ID PID, that is 1692. So mention it here, 1692, hit enter. So I have killed this process, yes, so it has been terminated now. If you want to go and verify, just give this command once again top, and right now you can see that yes process has been disappeared, and the CPU is going to settle now. So it is now 0 0.3, 0 0.000. So now my second condition is going to be matched, which says that whenever CPU utilization is less than 40%, okay, start deleting the virtual machine. Unnecessary virtual machines are not required in that case. So Now it will just wait for 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, you will see that all of these virtual machines, those we have created, will be disappeared from here. So right now, if I just refresh it, you can see some of the virtual machine are still in running state. Okay, this will also come in the running state first, then it will be deleted, because the steps execution will happen step by step, right? So right now it is getting created, and it is also already created now. Right now it's updating. Once it is up, then it will be reversed back and deleted once again. So let's wait for some more time, then we will see that. I hope you have understood this overall concept, how this auto scale or virtual machine scale set exactly work in this condition. And there was a second scaling, that was manual scaling. Let's say you want to increase the number of virtual machine immediately. So through what manual scaling you can do, if you put five here, so automatically five virtual machine will be deployed inside your virtual machine scale set. Okay, so this is the manual way, this is the automatic way, and this virtual machine skill set plays a very important role in very important setups also. Most of your online websites and the critical website, those are having a fluctuated kind of user session connecting on them, so they are using the same setup in the backend. So now you can see that virtual machine has been reduced to two now instances. This will also be delete, and it will set to one, and it will remain one only because I have set the minimum as one. Correct? So this is how this whole concept work here. I hope this concept is clear. If you have any question, please let me know. Even this is also getting deleted. Okay, so